Okay, let's get right into it. We're talking about a scenario that's, well, it's incredibly serious. Imagine a conflict kicks off in Iran in 2026. If you're in the Middle East, how do you get out? This isn't some abstract thought experiment. We're giving you a practical playbook for when all the normal ways out are gone.
So, picture this. The airport's closed. Thousands, maybe tens of thousands of people are just stranded. It feels like you're trapped, right? But here's the thing, and this is crucial. Even if you can't fly, there are still ways out. You just have to know where to look, and that's on the ground. So, what's causing all this chaos in the first place? Well, we're looking at a hypothetical conflict that escalates fast. It starts in late February 2026, you've got coalition strikes on Iran, and then, bam, retaliation across the Gulf. The immediate fallout? Massive instability and, for anyone trying to leave, a total shutdown of air travel. The skies are just closed for business.
And look at how fast this all goes down. It starts with those initial strikes on February 28th. Just a few days later, in early March, the whole region is seeing retaliatory attacks. And that brings us to today, where the major airspaces are completely paralyzed. You can see why everyone's attention has shifted so quickly to getting out by land.
And this isn't just happening in one or two places. The threat it's all over. The US has put out alerts for a whopping 14 countries. And we're not talking about small, remote places. We're talking about major hubs. The UAE, Saudi Arabia, Qatar. This affects a huge part of the region, putting tons of expats and travelers in a really tough spot. So that brings us to the one question that's on everybody's mind. If you can't get on a plane, what on earth do you do? How do you get from where you are to somewhere safe?
And here it is. This is probably the most important thing you'll hear in this whole explainer. The answer isn't up in the air. It's on the ground. The entire escape strategy now hinges on using overland routes. We're talking cars, buses, to get to these special, safe hubs where airports are actually still open.
Okay, so where are these safe hubs? Where are you trying to get to? Well, there are two main ones. First up is Muscat in Oman. Its international airport is up and running, which makes it the #1 choice, especially if you're coming from the UAE. Then you've got Riyadh and Jeddah in Saudi Arabia. They've become these essential transit points, with airports that can fly you out of the danger zone and connect you to the rest of the world.
All right, this is your game plan, laid out nice and simple. If you're in the UAE, you're looking at a direct 5-hour drive or bus ride down to Muscat. In Qatar, it's a bit longer, about a 6 to 8 hour drive to Riyadh. And for anyone in Bahrain and Kuwait, it's a relatively short drive to get across the border into Saudi Arabia and head towards Jeddah. These are the actual routes people are taking right now.
And listen, this isn't just theory. People are literally making these trips as we speak. We're getting real-time reports from the ground, like this one, that confirms these routes are open. Someone coming from the UAE to Oman said the checkpoints were smooth but crowded. So, what's the takeaway? The road is open, but you have to plan for major delays. Patience is going to be your best friend here.
Now, this is so important to remember. You are not alone in this. There is a massive support effort spinning up, with governments and private groups all working towards one single goal: getting people out safely.
And just to give you an idea of the sheer scale of this operation, look at this number. Over 9,000 people. That's how many have already been evacuated just on U.S. military and charter flights. That's proof that once you make it to one of these safe hubs, there's a serious system ready and waiting to help you get the rest of the way home. Okay, so who do you call? Your first stop always should be your embassy. The US, the EU, the UK, Germany, they are all running flights from these hubs. But don't forget about private options. You should absolutely check your travel insurance. Some policies, like certain ones from Amex Platinum, might actually cover emergency evacuations. And there are specialized NGOs like Grey Bull Rescue that can give you direct help on the ground.
Of course, a trip like this is not a walk in the park. It's incredibly risky. You've got to be watching constantly for missile strikes that could be happening anywhere along your route. You have to be ready for borders to slam shut with no warning. You're going to face insane traffic jams. And, just as dangerous, you have to be so careful about misinformation and rumors flying around online. You've got to stick to official, verified sources for everything.
Okay, let's pull all this together into a final, actionable checklist. What do you do right now? Number 1, register with your embassy's program, something like the US STEP program. Get on their list. 2, pack right, but pack smart. We're talking essentials only. Your documents, water, some food, and a first aid kit. 3, stay glued to reliable info.
Use apps like Flight Radar 24, monitor official border news, be obsessed with it. And 4, maybe the most important rule of all, always have a plan B. If your main route gets cut off, the safest thing to do is often to just shelter in place and wait for your next opportunity to move.
So, there you have it. The routes are clear, the safe hubs are known, the support systems are spinning up, all the information is on the table, so the only question left, and it's the only one that really matters if you're in the region, is what's your plan?